All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope everyone's been safe this weekend. Definitely some disturbing images all across the country. America is on fire. So we'll have to see how this affects the stock markets going into the week. Does that affect Bitcoin's price? But you know what? We also have the monthly candle close to look at today. We have a weekly candle close. We have to stick to our charts. I like the saying, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, but we do have some things to be aware of with the crisis. It's not just the pandemic. Now we have a whole nother crisis. All right, guys, but we're going to keep this an uplifting Bitcoin update. All right, we won't get political here, so go ahead, smash that like, leave a comment, subscribe, tick the bell for notifications. I do live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. Remember, these are my own ideas and opinions on the market, so please do your own research, trade at your own risk. I am not your financial advisor. Let's go ahead, take a look at the market real quick. We can see Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. Again, it looks sideways. It's funny, every time I do these videos, it looks like nothing has happened. Yesterday, you had a little bit of a rally. I would say more so in Ethereum and some of the altcoins. Cardano still blasting off with that mainnet coming soon in June. Shelly mainnet is launching for Cardano, so a lot of hype around that. You also have Ethereum 2.0 should be released soon as well. Hype around that. And Bitcoin had been outperforming some of the altcoins, so maybe they were catching up. But overall, yesterday was actually a good day for crypto. I don't know if that has any correlation with the crisis. Was Bitcoin performing all right? Altcoins performing well because of, the riots, or it just had nothing to do with it? We'll see. So the volume was actually over 1 billion yesterday. So yeah, there were some moves to be made, but unfortunately, we have retraced that whole rally as far as Bitcoin goes. We have the CME opening back up today. We're actually, at the same price level now as we were when the CME closed on Friday. We'll take a look at that real quick as well. And our fear and greed index, right down the middle, 51. We've been talking about how, we're at a critical macro resistance. So it's tough to get too bullish when you're at such a level there. And, I feel like over the past, year or two, we've been at this level before where people may have been burned. They got excited, especially, the rally to 14K last year. I'm sure a lot of people got burned up there. So, it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. It's like, all right, I don't believe it till I see it. So you have that narrative going. And then on the flip side, on the bullish side, we are above, key weekly indicators as far as bullish indicators, with your Bollinger Bands, with your Ichimoku clouds, with moving averages. There's definitely signs pointing that we are in a bull trend. So 50-50, okay, guys? All right, so let's take a look at our chart here. We can, you know what? We'll come back to this. We'll do a full breakdown as usual. I do want to start off with the monthly and the weekly since we are getting those closes today. But you can see we are underneath this downtrend resistance and beneath this rising support line, flipped resistance, and pretty much just bouncing around and consolidating for now. Maybe we'll get that breakout this week, tomorrow, some point, who knows. All right, so let's go over to the monthly. We have the monthly candle close. Okay, so we'll take a look at that real quick. The monthly candle. Something of importance, was to see where this candle body actually closes. All right, so this candle body high closed at 93.27, and current price is 94.80. If we can get this candle to close today above 93.27, that will be a higher high for a candle body close on the monthly chart. The last time you had something similar was back here where you got a slightly higher candle close above that one there, and we did rally to 10.5. We had the pandemic and a sell-off. So, maybe this time we'll also get another rally. And this is the thing. If the stock market gets a major dump, we could see this come down with it. We don't know right now. We've seen Bitcoin move with, oil and gold during the Iran conflict, at the top of the year. We've also seen, Bitcoin dump hard when the rest of the global markets dumped. So to me, it depends on the severity, how severe, if you see a dump in the stock markets, how severe is that dump? If it's just, a retracement, a normal pullback, maybe Bitcoin continues to do its own thing. But if, it's something where, it's, the circuit breakers are going off and it's just like, news headlines, stock market dumping, Bitcoin probably takes a plunge with it. So that's what we have to be aware of. We do have the S&P futures and all that will open tonight, the same as the CME Bitcoin futures open tonight. So maybe they'll give us a bit of a hint as far as what happens going into next week. Also, how are the protests? Do they continue this today? Or, do we chill out? We've been protesting 5-6 days straight across all major cities. Does that chill out, or do we see more violence today? If there's more violence and more fires and just brutality and looting, then possibly you see a sell-off tomorrow. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens, okay? How the markets react. So we are looking at that on the monthly though. So we're looking for that candle close. Current level, it still looks good. We have the moving averages. We're above all major moving averages on the monthly. So that's just another bullish, confirmation. It's just adding up in the right direction for the bulls. Anything on the Ichimoku? The Ichimoku cloud, you do have that support. We're closing above the blue conversion line, but we do have the resistance coming in at 99.32, near 10K, of course. That's that orange baseline there, okay? Your stochastics on the monthly, still rising on the fast moving stochastic. You're still rising up. That looks good. And your slow moving stoch had the cross initiated, and we should confirm this cross. So that's another macro indicator in the right direction. All right. So taking a look at the weekly real quick. Take a look at the weekly. Now your weekly fast moving stoch looking to cross back up, and your slow moving stoch still crossed up. So looks good on the weekly. Nice green candle. It's not going to engulf this one as it looks right now, but like I said on Friday, it's better than us coming down here, considering that this looked like a reversal candle on the weekly. So, starting to look like just a weekly sideways consolidation underneath this resistance that we've been looking at. So could definitely, once it could be a bull flag. We could look at our symmetrical triangle. I feel like I skipped a few things. So I'm already on to my weekly indicators, but we looked at that monthly. We also have the weekly candle close here. So while I'm on it, let's go ahead and finish this up. The weekly candle close above the blue 50 simple. That's, above all major moving averages. It looked like we might have lost that level there, but we just bounced and we're, consolidating above it. Your blue 50 simple on the weekly is 87.85. So we're well above that price. Your yellow 21 EMA is, creeping up 82.34. As long as you're above that in previous, Bitcoin history, above the yellow 21 EMA is that bull run. Okay, the macro bull run that we're all looking for. So if we can stay above it, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I'm bullish on cryptocurrency in general. And then, I guess what we can monitor for this weekly candle close also is where does this blue 10 simple could cross bullish back above the 50 EMA, this orange 50 EMA. So, cross back above that. That's just another confirmation again. Okay, so we're seeing lots of confirmations on the macro there. All right, so I did want to show the CME. Where did the CME leave off on Friday? It says 94.70. Okay, so if we go over to our chart, where was that? That was somewhere around this region. We're at 94.88. We'll see if there's a slight discrepancy between prices when it opens. That's going to be 3 p.m. Pacific time for me. And we'll see, usually there's a slight discrepancy, maybe like $50 or so between, like a Bitstamp price and CME price. But pretty much the same area. So, when we were up here, you would have had a gap beneath, but it seems like we've already retraced towards that gap. If we do happen to fall before CME opens, you'll have the gap above. Right now, we're basically at that price. So there won't be much of a gap play, which to me is better than what I thought was going to happen. It looked like we were getting a breakout yesterday, and had we continued to break out today, we would have had a massive gap looming beneath us. And, most gaps fill. I know some people think it's a meme, but I would say 99% of the Bitcoin CME gaps have filled. So you have to be aware of those. And we do have a gap up at 11.8K on the CME still. That hasn't been filled there. There's some 4-hour, there's a 4-hour gap down at, what is this? No, sorry. I get 3,500. I'm looking, we haven't talked about levels that low in a while, so I couldn't even bring myself to say it. But you have some mini 4-hour gaps to me. I don't count the 4-hour gaps to me. I think they're important. If you can clearly see them on a daily, it's going to hold the most weight to me. The same as a weekly or a daily chart has more weight than a 1-hour chart. To me, a daily gap has more weight than a 4-hour gap. If there's a 4-hour gap that didn't get filled, I can kind of be like, whatever. When there's a large daily gap, it's like, all right, when are we coming back? When will we fill it? Usually they happen pretty quickly. This one it's been some time. So, as far as the market, looking at, traditional markets, they have rallied pretty hard from the bottom. When will they get the pullback? We still have 40 million unemployed. These businesses are getting pummeled. They're definitely hurting. The airline industry, hotels. Like, I know we're reopening, but we can't pretend that they didn't just get destroyed for the last 2 months being shut. And we know that people aren't ready to spend a bunch of money moving forward the next few months. We could have a wave 2. These riots, oh my God, like the people aren't wearing masks. Like, this is worse than the Memorial Day weekend parties that we were so upset about, the crowds, a weekend before. Now the crowds all across America, like, the virus is still out there. So does this, lead to another outbreak and another lockdown and another dump? We have to watch Bitcoin for that. And, to note, the NASDAQ, mostly tech companies, is almost back at all-time highs. So are we going to go to all-time highs on the NASDAQ, in the middle of this pandemic lockdown, like restrictions? Is kind of crazy. So on a macro level, it's hard to think that we're going to keep going up much further. Of course, intraday, there could be trades to be taken intraday. So just be careful with Bitcoin, especially, we have more conflict and crisis. It just throws us for a loop, throws a wrench into the plans, so to say. All right, let me get back to Bitcoin. Before I break down the daily 12-hour, 4-hour, we are looking at some horizontal levels of interest and some trend lines, okay? So 14 minutes. All right, so You can redraw these diagonals. That's why they're not too important. If you were using your candle bodies, we broke out there. We had this trend line where you had the candle bodies, and we broke out from that, but we're back underneath it. If you want to use the wicks, top of the wicks, we didn't quite get there. And using the top of the wicks lines up more with my horizontals, which I do hold more weight with the horizontals than diagonals at 9,800. And 9,800 is a level to beat because you can see on the daily you have the candle closes, the candle body closes there. So if how I was showing with the monthly, how we want the monthly candle close to close a little higher than the previous high candle close. You want to do the same with the daily. So you want to get that to close above 9,800 for extension towards 10.5, basically clearing this peak here. Okay. To the downside, 9,200 has been of interest previously. Just with previous price action, resistance, support, resistance, and we were met with some resistance there again. Sorry, there's a little lag on those. So we were met with resistance and support there. But if we zoom in a little bit closer, go into a 4-hour, we can see that 9,300 has also been of interest. Resistance, support, resistance, resistance, and support. So if we do chop around some more, and I've been talking about this week that this could be a long consolidation. That's why when we started moving yesterday, I was a little surprised. We usually don't see breakouts on the weekend. You will see some movements, but they usually kind of just go back to where they started, which we have done. So like on Friday, I was like, I don't think we'll get a breakout till maybe next week, if we even get a breakout this week. We could consolidate longer. I've been showing that this could last into next month or July, even depending on the type of formation we have here. But so if we chop around, 9,800 is going to be that key level to close above, at least on a daily. And then you have 9,300, 9,200 support. To the downside of interest is 8,600. 8,600, you have that support there, support, support. So this is kind of creating a flat line of support, I would say. So, are we in a symmetrical triangle, or are we in a, descending triangle? I guess that would be, that's the conversation that we're having. So all these different colors, I'll just make this red, not saying that it's, the red doesn't mean it's necessarily bearish, but just so that it can line up with my red here. So, are we in this symmetrical triangle here? Well, if we're in this symmetrical triangle, let's look at where the apex could possibly be. Because, this could play out for some time just to mess with us. This isn't even the apex, but I would say at this point we would break out at least. This is June 20th, okay? Now, if we're in a descending triangle and we maintain, this downtrend, but we actually, maybe we break this and then bounce from 8,600, and you're looking at more of a, descending triangle formation, you're looking at a potential apex way further down the road. I'm just doing this together. Now this is down at July, okay? So we'll have to see, the extent of this consolidation. So those are the levels that I'm looking at for support and resistance here. So let's go ahead and look at my indicators and see, if we can find where the next trade might come. All right. So hit that like for me if you haven't. All right. I'll throw on my moving averages. So on the daily, above all key moving averages, again, this is bullish. However, we are under resistance, so your support level is around 92.22 is the light blue 10 simple, yellow 21 EMA, same area, 92.18 about. So, that would line up with that 9,200 horizontal that we spoke about there. So, that's fair game anywhere above that. If you lose that level, your orange 50 EMA is at 87.26, okay? And that would kind of line up with this, and this will move up with the next daily close. It'll move up a bit. So that will line up. Okay, it's going to get a little crazy here, but you can see where that orange 50 EMA is lining up with that uptrend on the symmetrical formation. And you can see where the yellow and the blue 10 line up with that 9,200. So the moving averages are lining up pretty well with these lines of resistance and support that we have drawn. And you can see that we have the 50 moving up towards that 8,600 support, this green line. And our 8,400 horizontal, this has been drawn for months now. You have your 100 EMA coming up to meet it. Your 200 light green EMA is going to start creeping up as well. So everything's lining up there, as you can see. So that's what we're watching as far as that with our moving averages. Anything on the Ichimoku? Ichimoku, we're above the blue conversion. Your support would be 9250, so right between 92 and 9300 like we were talking about. And we have this, large support cloud forming here. It's also good to see on the daily time frame. All right, so your daily fast moving stoke did get that cross down. We had to cross up on the slow moving. So yeah, I mean, this one crossed up, moving with that, and you got that play there on the fast moving as well. But this, is hinting that we have a little more consolidation to go. And we did hit that resistance, so this could come down and then get a bounce, comes down, get a bounce, and then this guy just floats up the whole time. So we'll have to see. Now, if you get a cross down on this one as well, maybe that will be a sign for further downside. Okay. And what if we break, I said if we break, 9,800, 10K, 10.5 would be the immediate target. Well, if we lost, it's going to take some work, but if, you lose that 93, 9,200 down here, we said, 87 to 8,600, 8,400 has been a horizontal of interest for some time as well. You had that previous resistance support flip there, resistance, and then we broke out. So, that's 7,800. So that is a level. 8,400 was this level back here. You had that resistance flip support as well. You can see we bounce off of it. So that's 84. If 84 is lost, then you go into that 7,800, 7,750 level where you see that previous resistance. Okay, so those are my major levels of interest right here, if you want to write those down. They've been above my head for a while. Okay. Let's go down to the 12-hour real quick. On the 12-hour moving averages, the blue 10 simple still holding up support there, 94.37. You're still above all moving averages on the 12-hour. So this is why I'm looking for more opportunities for, longs. I'm not looking to short so much, because it can be dangerous to short in here. You don't know when Bitcoin, we're overall, to me, in my opinion, overall bullish, unless there's a panic dump, right? Caused by, the global crisis, whatever. Otherwise, overall, I'm macro, so it can dip, but you never know when it's just going to blast up. There's more chance of it going to the upside than to the downside overall. So it's always dangerous to be in a short. I wouldn't want to be in a short like overnight while I'm asleep type thing. You could take a short for a scalp intraday type play, but as far as like the main picture, I wouldn't be looking so aggressive on the short side. Now, if something's clearly overextended, like Ethereum had a nice rally yesterday and a little bit of a pullback. So if you were, trying to gamble and catch the top, you could have caught a little short, but I wouldn't hold on to it that long, is my point. So 12-hour above all moving averages. Ichimoku Cloud, your support level is going to be down at 91.94, so that 9,200 level we've been talking about. And your Stokes, okay, so your 12-hour fast moving Stoke to the downside, and your slow moving Stoke getting crossed to the downside. With that daily fast moving Stoke coming down would imply, maybe we do come test some of those levels. But for me, I would rather us come test one of those levels and watch for a bounce opportunity to catch the next long, opposed to trying to take the short here, because I don't know how, where we're going to get that bounce from. That's just my opinion. You could be targeting down here, but I don't know. We broke above those key levels and we're maintaining above these moving averages. Maybe if you lost the yellow 21 EMA, maybe if you lost that 9,200, you could look for a scalp down to that level. But we're in the range, so you have to just be aware of that, okay? We're not looking for the breakouts quite yet. 4 hour, your Stoke fast moving still down, slow moving still down, but maintaining support above the yellow 21 EMA at 94.50. You have this cluster here coming in around that 92, 9300 region as well. So you could get a bounce. If you don't get it here, you could get it here or here. And I would be looking for, say we come down this way, just consolidating this way. And then you see that 4 hour cross up and we can get a 4 hour here, that could be a nice long opportunity possibility. So I'm watching for my lower time frame Stokes. I can take a look at the 1 hour just to see what's going on. So you already got that there crossed up, and you kind of got that play here, but you can see the slow moving Stoke is still kind of gliding down, hasn't quite looking to cross up possibly. So you're going to have these react more often. So you're going to have, some nice scalp opportunities with this, and this one's slower, so it takes more confirmations. So when this one starts going low like that, it's coming at some point, so you start to watch for it. But you have this, this resistance coming down with the yellow 21 EMA, blue 10 simple. So on a hourly, I would like to see this downtrend break. You could draw a trend line there too. You can see it with your eye. So you could if you break that, close back above this level at about 95.35, get the cross up. You start to see that 4 hour cross up as well. That would be an opportunity possibly for a long. All right. So that's what we're looking at today. We can look real quick at some alts. The Bitcoin dominance, take a look at that real quick, see how we're doing. Bitcoin dominance is falling. Altcoins did outperform. Yesterday, I haven't had my RSI up this entire time. It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. I just noticed that. Okay, let me change the color on that one right there. Because, RSI is just one of many indicators I look at. So, it's not that big of a deal. Hold on. Let me just focus. Focus! All right, there. Got mine. So, if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin dominance, take that off. We can see that, your Stokes are low. Your Stokes are low. Your RSI almost low. And you can see that you get bounces the same as you do on the charts. When we were this low on the dominance here on your RSI and Stokes, you ended up having a rally in Bitcoin dominance. Once you hit that oversold area on dominance, RSI, Stokes, then you saw the altcoins start to perform better. So you can use this. So basically, it's looking like Bitcoin could get another rally as far as dominance in the next few days, maybe this week. So if Bitcoin has a rally in dominance, it means two things. It means Bitcoin breaks out and we go for that 10.5, and Bitcoin is the leader, and it all the coins move up, but Bitcoin moves a higher percentage higher. Or say we have a sell-off. There's a big sell-off, catastrophe. doesn't have to be, but we start dumping and the altcoins sell harder, so the altcoins lose a larger percentage, you would also see the dominance rise. So we have to look at that. And let's look at those altcoins real quick, okay? So we looked on Friday at what? We were looking at Tezos. Tezos had a nice breakout from, we had a downtrend and it broke out there. I'm just drawing this rough. So yeah, it was something like that. So had called for a trade when we broke that and rallied pretty nicely. Let me take this fib off of my Tezos chart. So we rallied nice from that breakout, but we're hitting this resistance level here. So this is on a daily chart. We'll go ahead and draw that there. On Tezos, you have a $2.94 resistance level. And, you know, I could say possibly like a support level here. You know, this looks like it was resistance before. Resistance now flipping as support at $2.83. So looking to possibly hold that level. You know, of course, if Bitcoin has a big move or, you know, a dump, Tezos will follow. But otherwise looks good as far as, you know, that breakout. You're just hitting horizontal resistance. If you can get above that horizontal resistance, you know, I think this would be an obvious target. And that would be coming in around $3.19 using the peak there. And then you could use that peak there. You know, and this is what we do with coins that maybe you don't want to do a full breakdown. Just go ahead and, you know, look at their horizontal levels and you'll see those play out nicely over time. Okay. So if I close that out and just look at my moving averages, Tezos is above all daily moving averages, but could come down to test support, you know, $2.78, something like that. But if you can get that breakout, yeah, looking to test this peak here and then the peak there. Going over to Ethereum. Ethereum put on a show yesterday, hitting that 245 level that I posted on Twitter about. We talked about it a little bit here. You're well above your moving averages. So yeah, taking a little pause, maybe a consolidation, maybe come down to test your blue 10 simples at 215. 215 was a important level. Interesting. So that was the level we were looking at. I was looking at for a breakout, and you can see the blue 10 simple coming up right now. So do we come all the way back down to test that, you know, as support? We could at some point, but your, you know, daily moving averages are going to continue up higher there. But yeah, I was looking at, you know, this level here. We had a clear resistance, looked like an ascending triangle. You had that breakout from that level there. That's where it all started once you broke that, and then you had your resistance and we broke up higher. Basically, you know, I showed you that if you took a measured move on an ascending triangle and you had dragged it up, it was going to bring us into that region there. So that move played out. Now we just have to see, you know, do we come back down and flip it as support, or do we consolidate here? Your next target area would be around 270, 275 to retest that peak. I don't know if it's going to happen quite yet, because you do, you know, we did have a massive move and you're at that resistance level on Ethereum. But in general, looking good, looking good. I liked Ethereum above 195 and continuing higher, you know, Ethereum 2.0 hype. So, you know, it's good to see. And we'll have to see if we can break this previous peak, you know, real quick. You know, Cardano has had a lot of hype because of their mainnet. You know, you can't get Cardano on Coinbase, you know, but you can get it on Binance US. And obviously, if you're not a US citizen, you can get it elsewhere. But you can see that Cardano has broken that previous peak. So, you know, a big argument, you know, we've been talking about in crypto has been lower high, lower high. We have broken this peak. So, you know, we could get a pullback, but are we starting to put in, higher lows and higher highs on a macro? You would want to just maintain this top level, flip that as support. If you come back down and hold this level as support, then you would want to target, this range here. And this is helpful because, whether you trade Cardano or not, this can be applied to Bitcoin and any other asset, even traditional markets. So this is the type of stuff that you're looking for. So break above that, find support, and then march up to around 10 cents. You want to flip that level. And then I see, maybe this level here at 19 cents. Who knows? So that's it for me today. 35 minutes. Time starts to fly when you move on to the altcoins. Well, guys, stay safe out there. Don't get crazy. Hopefully things chill out today. If not, if we see just more wildness and looting and fires, and even somebody, died yesterday in Chicago, got shot during the protest. So if we do see that continue tonight, I'm going to watch the futures market on traditional markets. I can watch, the NASDAQ futures. I can watch S&P futures, see how they react, and see how that might affect Wall Street tomorrow when Wall Street opens, and see if that affects Bitcoin. So it's a big game. Got to keep a lot of things in mind. It's never simple, but hopefully, this video has been of some benefit. Overall, the monthly looks good at current price. We are looking to see it close above 93.20. We're at 95.20 at current price now. So if we open at current price, we'll have a small CME gap beneath it. But, I'm just looking at this ranging type action is what it looks like to me. So we'll just have to play it one level at a time, okay, guys? So make sure you have your support and resistance levels in mind so that you can take action when you get to those points. Thanks for watching again, guys. I will see you this week. Adios.